Hey everyone, Mike Rosehart here with another video on how you go from 0 to 10 properties in under 2 years. In fact, you can go 0 to 25 properties in about 3 years. It can be definitely done in under 5. This is extremely aggressive and assuming best case scenarios, but I'm walking through the possibility of what is possible, what is the potential, and how I did a lot of what I did. I was able to grow from 0 to 15 properties in a very quick span of a little over 5-6 years. I didn't have a lot of the knowledge that I have now, and had I had what I had now, I'd be able to do it even faster and even better. So a lot of my first deals weren't this good, they weren't this effective, but it's possible in the best case scenario to do this, to go from, like I say, 0 to 10 properties in about 2 years. You can go 25 properties in about 3 or 4 years. There is some scaling issues that we can talk about, but conceptually speaking, I'm going to walk you through how it's possible. And I know this is a lot to read. You guys are probably thinking, wow, his font is too small. I'm going to give you at a high level what I'm talking about. This up here is our timeline. We have 0, year 0. The small notches are 6 months in. That's 1 full year, 6 months in, 2 full years, 6 months in, 3 full years. So I'm going to walk you through. If you can't read it, I'm going to enunciate for you so that you can understand orally. For this to work, there are a few things that need to happen. One, you need to make sure you have a good credit score. You need to be able to borrow, you need to be able to get mortgages. You need to be able to borrow money for the strategy to work. And the debt has to be relatively cheap, ideally under 5% for it to work, but it will work at a little bit higher interest rates. The cheaper the debt, obviously the better the return on investment, but not the end of the world. So we're starting with a few things. One, you have to have a full-time job as well. $50,000, $55,000 a year is about the average salary, I think, in Canada, and around where you need to be. So you need to be about an average Canadian. You don't have to be above average. If you're above average, if you're a programmer, if you're like a VP or you have a great job, hell, you can do this even faster, even better. And if you already have an arsenal of savings, right? If you've already got a net worth or some money put aside, you can access some capital. Power to you, because you're further ahead in this strategy. You can do it even faster, even better than the other person who can't. So I'm assuming a couple things, like I say, good credit score, $50,000 salary, and $55,000 in capital. So if you're 21 years old, you just got your first job, and you want to get started on this, you need to go work full-time and be aggressive with your savings. You need to spend very little, live like a student, and save. This is what I did to build my first down payment to buy the first property. People can do it with CMHC. You can do it with the CMHC fees, private mortgage insurance. If you want to go 5% down, I always do 20% down, so that's the numbers I've assumed in these calculations. I do 20% down is a sweet spot to avoid CMHC. So we're talking about year 1, you've got your $55,000 salary. We're going to assume you keep that job throughout, and throughout this strategy, you're going to be grinding after you get off work at 4:30, 5 o'clock. You go right to the properties, right till midnight, and on all weekends. And your phone's going to be ringing a little bit during the day, so you have to be able to manage that. It's going to be a grind. It's not easy. The Rosehart real estate snowball requires extreme frugality. You need to be able to save. Your lifestyle cannot inflate. Throughout this whole time, you have to be living on a very frugal lifestyle. Ideally, you're spending about 40% of your day job salary on your living expenses, and you're saving 60 or so percent. That's about ideal for this to work. You can do it with a little bit less. You could do it with 50% savings rate. You could do it with less if you have more saved already. Doesn't matter. So anyway, let's get into the nuts and bolts of this, because I'm trying to make this as quick as I can, given it's such an in-depth topic. Please, in the comments, drop messages if you find anything confusing. I can clarify further. So you're starting off in year 1. We're at timeline 0. You've got your $55,000. You go out and you find the best deal. I'm going to talk about how you find good deals in a future video. We don't have time for that, but it's a $200,000 property. This property needs a bit of rehabilitation. Needs some paint. Needs some, the carpet's all rough. You need to put new floors in. Mostly cosmetic though, nothing structural. It's a good property. You've checked it out in a decent area. You've got a good deal. Maybe it was private. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a pocket listing. Maybe it wasn't. It's better if it is. The better the deal, the better the buy, the better you're going to do. For this to work though, you need to buy a $200,000 property with a $290,000 ARV. ARV is after renovated value. So when you're done renovating it, when you put tenants into it, maybe it's a single family property, you put tenants into it, it needs to be at the 1% rule. So when it's $290,000 valuation, it'll rent roughly around $2,800, $2,900 a month. A lot of student properties here in London will meet this criteria. That's the property that I've chosen to model this whole portfolio on. It's the same model of property every single time. So when I get into property 2, 3, 4, I'm replicating this exact same model again. Your down payment on a $200,000 house is $40,000 at 20% down. So $40,000 of that $50,000 or $55,000 you got saved up at the start of this in year 0, you're going to deploy into the first property. And you're going to put the rest of that capital you had saved up into the renovation. And you're going to do this very low cost, very frugal. You're not just going to hire a general contractor and say, you know, whatever. You're going to bring sub trades in. You're going to bring a flooring guy in. You're going to manage the trades to keep the costs low. Because to get this renovation done, it's like a $50,000 renovation. You're going to get done for 15, which means this is where you're going to add value. It's a value add. Good part of the value add is where you build a lot of your money. And you did a good job buying a property slightly under market value. And you've changed the use of the property to realize the ARV. And I'll talk about videos about how you do this. It's totally possible. I know dozens of people who have done it. I've done it over 10 times. Even better than these are ARVs. Like 200 to 290 is not even unrealistic. 200 to 400 is doable if you're really good. So anyway, I've done examples like that. And I'm going to walk through the numbers. So you got $160,000 mortgage on this property, right, that you're carrying. And you go and you do all the renovation. You get the property all, you know, spiffy. You can check my other video where I go into great depth about how you can do that stuff. You go and you refinance it now on the new ARV. It's a beautiful property. You've done, you know, you made nice new floors. You rent it out to some great tenants. You got a group in there. You bring that lease to the bank. The bank's like, wow, now it's rented out. It's cash flowing, $2,800 a month now. It's a beautiful property. We will, based on the numbers, you can look at my other videos about how people appraise properties, but they're going to give you $290,000 appraisal. And if they don't, you're going to go to another bank and get another appraisal until you get $290,000, because that's what market value is. Based on the cash flow numbers, that's just what the property is worth. Now your new property, 80% loan to value, your new mortgage on the property worth $290,000, right? The same property is going to give you a mortgage of $234,000, which means when the bank issues you that mortgage, they're going to discharge the other mortgage that was on the property for $160,000. And it's taking you in your timeline about 5 or 6 months to get this done. Half a year on your first property. You're 6 months and you've been going hard. You're like, damn, I only have one property, Mike. You know, how am I going to get to like 25, like you said, in 3 years? Just wait, it's coming. So you get that payout, right? That $234,000, and you've got, you know, a huge pile of cash wherein when you discharge that mortgage, it's been paid down now to say $159,000. You paid $1,000 of it down or $2,000 of it down over the last 6 months when you're floating the property using your day job income, of course, because you're living frugally and you're able to save 60% of your income. And it's a duplex and you're renting a 1 unit, so it's covering its own cost. That was the model I used. I really like that one. And at the end of the day, you're getting your $234,000 new mortgage, discharges your old mortgage of $159,000, you get $75,000 cash that's yours. That's yours. And you have $56,000 in equity left in the property. $290,000 property value minus $234,000 mortgage on it, the new 80% loan to value. You get $56,000 in equity in the property. It's now rented out $2,800 a month, which is about $1,000 a month in profit. You get $1,000 a month profit now. You have none of your own money. You got $75,000 back. You started with $55,000. So you have $75,000 cash back to buy your second property. We're now at the 6-month mark, right? You got your $75,000, and during that time you've been saving 60% of your salary, right? Because you already had the rental budget when you started. So you've got your half a year, about $30,000 savings. Half a year of that is $15,000 savings. So 6 months in, you get $15,000 saved from your day job in a savings account, and you get $75,000 from that refi check. And you're getting $1,000 a month now from your rental property. So you've got enough capital, roughly, for a down payment on 2, right? Property 2 and property 3. And you do the exact same model. You repeat it exactly as you did the first one. You get a $290,000 ARV, and you get essentially a check for $75,000 for number 2 and $75,000 for number 3. And you've still got $56,000 equity in all 3 properties. So at the end of year 1, because it took you another 6 months, you're 6 months in, you buy a property. At the 1-year mark, you've now got 3 properties at the end of year 1. You've been doing this for a whole year. 6 months later, you just got your new refi checks on the new properties 2 and 3, and you're sitting pretty. You're looking at 3 properties, each bringing in about $950 to $1,000 a month. You get almost $3,000 a month coming in, best case scenario, and you've got $150,000 cash. $75,000 from property 1, $75,000 from property 2. When you paid out the old mortgages, you got the new mortgages put on when you refinance them. That was $75,000 difference from that discharge, and that's your refi out. So you got $150,000 in ammo going into year 2, and by the way, that's going to buy you 3 properties this time, right? So you've gone from 3 properties to 6 right in the start of year 2, and you're going to do the exact same thing again. You're going to pull out the money, but by the way, now you're getting 3 properties cash flowing all of year 2, $1,000 a month each, plus the new ones you just bought. So you're all of a sudden, and you're saving from your day job $30,000 a year. So you got another down payment in year 2 for property number 7, right? And then don't forget that properties number 4, 5, and 6 are going to give you refis of $75,000 each because we're following the same model, right? So you're going to have $225,000 of capital coming out of, around the, you're probably 3/4 of the way through past year 1, almost at 2 full years into this. And then you're at 11 properties, right? Because you got the capital now to buy 4 more. So you're at 11 properties conservatively after 2 years, and the snowball continues. If you follow the math, you're going to reach another $375,000 in going in year 3 to buy more properties. At that point, it gets difficult to get personal mortgages that you're guaranteeing. You want to set up a corporate structure. You start borrowing a little bit more expensive debt. You might look into private money lending. But because you have so much cash coming in, you've been refining these great properties that you've been buying, money isn't really an issue anymore. You're now at a point where you could quit your job, but you won't because you want to keep grinding. You don't want to burn any cash from the business. Real estate business reinvests in itself. That's how this system works. I'm going to do another video. It's going to be quicker about how you go 0 to 5 properties, and I'm going to walk through the depth of each and every number related to that. So if you guys have questions, I'm sorry this is quick. I'm trying to keep these videos quick, but at a high level, that's how you get to about 11 properties. 11 properties each have $56K equity. You have $616,000 in equity after only 2 years of doing this Rosehart real estate snowball strategy. And these 11 properties each cash flow $1,000 a month. You have $11,000 a month cash coming in. You have a down payment every 5 months just from rental income. And then you get the refinances coming in. So the snowball just grows, gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you get rich quick. You get $1 million in about 3 years doing this. It is possible. The naysayers aren't going to like it. They're going to say it's hard to get mortgages, hard to get refinanced. It is. It's really hard. I'm going to make a lot of videos about how you can do that. You might have to get private mortgages. You might have to go to B lenders instead of A lenders. I did it all with A lenders, 10 mortgages. So it's doable. You just have to have a really good narrative, and you have to know how to get loans and how to pull off good deals and build a good track record. So if you guys like this video, let me know. Please like, share, and subscribe if you're enjoying this type of content. I'm going to create more in-depth videos and get a bigger whiteboard where I can write a lot bigger, where you guys can see that a little bit more clearly. If this is something you're really liking, please let me know in the comments. That is the only thing keeping me going right now, is the love of the audience. So please share that. That's my currency. That's what I'm running on. Thanks, guys. Mike Rosehart for another video on the Rosehart Real Estate Snowball, using frugality to make you $1 million in 3 years.